Hello and welcome to Aircel Chennai Speaks Out. Consider this irony. A mother in suburban Chennai committed suicide, allegedly because the bank refused to give her daughter an education loan to study in a medical college. Now, this is in a state which has topped the country in the disbursal of education loans, 5,021 crore rupees in the year gone by. There are several cases of banks bending backwards to extend free credit cards to unwilling customers. There have been various cases of banks making nuisance telemarketing calls in the middle of an afternoon nap or even at ungodly hours. There are cases of banks using strong-arm tactics to recover their dues. And there are also cases of chronic defaulters, of people who end up taking various other loans and more credit cards to pay off their existing dues. So are banks today, in fact, pushing customers into the quicksand of debt through the lure of plastic money? To debate this, we've got Bhanumati Kaushik, who represents the BPO industry, PH Arvind Pandian, a leading corporate lawyer of the Madras High Court who has represented and defended many banks. I've got Mr. Arokya Sami, an advocate and the president of the Credit Card Users Association, and Mr. S. Rajendran, Inspector General of Police, Economic Offences Wing, somebody who deals with a lot of financial institutions. We have various victims of harassment by banks. We've got bank officials, students. Why do banks actually shove credit cards, free credit cards, down unwilling throats of customers?
The banks wants to, I would say to an extent, compete in terms of offering their products to the customers and bring in as many customers as possible within their umbrella. And instead of looking at it as shoving it down somebody's throat, I would put it as probably there are certain institutions which do not have a robust customer management system.
Sorry to interrupt. The reason why I said shoving it down unwilling throats is because sometimes you get a courier packet and then you open it and there's some credit card. You don't know anything about it. You haven't applied for it, but it's come to your doorstep.
The concept of a pre-approved card has evolved to a large extent. However, today there is a robust activation process. I would still maintain it as an offer that's coming your way.
Is it reckless and indiscriminate marketing by banks?
It's indiscriminate marketing, especially they target towards the salary class, students, IT employees. They don't give the card to the really deserving people, especially people like learned people like media people, advocates, police personnel. All these people, they don't give cards.
Is it because you can't mess with them? It's very difficult to send gundas to the houses of police officials and lawyers and journalists.
Exactly. What happens is not a question of awareness and greed. It's a question of enticing people. You allure people and you ask them to get into the trap. Suppose one card I got, as you said, directly said, I got a parcel. I mean, it's a tapal which I received.
Did it have IPS after your name on that, or did they know that you were a cop?
No, they sent it to me saying that Rajendran IPS, there was a credit card. Then I called the branch, why did you send it to me? I said, sir, we want valuable customers like you. So I'm salary class and I also have a big reputation and maybe status in the society. And I said, I don't use any credit card. Till now, I don't use the card. For the simple reason, it's a temptation. And I may not have the capacity to buy. I may not be willing to buy.
All right, that's an interesting point. Yeah. Arvind Pandian, somebody who represents banks. Do banks actually have any mechanism to assess a person's capacity to repay before you give them credit cards?
Well, if you ask me, addressing also the other issue which was raised, we need to also segregate the banks in somewhat three categories. One is the nationalized banks. Among the private sector, you have the old generation private sector and the new generation private sector. The old generation private sector banks are all those whom you would have heard of names which have a 50 or 100-year-old history. The new generation private sector are those which are typically we call them as the MNC banks. Now, if you see 99% of the calls emanate from the MNC or the new generation private banks. Even when I got my first credit card in 1996, flatly refused because lawyer. And I had to firstly show them that I'm also a corporate consultant and I do consultancy, and on the consultancy category I was given. And touch wood, till now, since there has not been any default, I get just like how the learned police officer said, I got umpteen number of cards coming whether I activated or not.
There are chronic defaulters. people who borrow money with no intention to repay? Yes or no?
The percentage will be very less, maybe 5 to 10%. Most of them are made to become a debtor or a borrower. See, as the police officer said, if he has one card, the other card, the bank tempts them to give another card. So immediately he gets a second card to pay the first card. And he gets the third card to pay the second card. He gets the fourth card to pay the third card. So in that way, that continues, the cards continues piling up. Thereafter, if the personal loan comes up, he also borrows the personal loan to pay up the card.
Bhanumati, how do they actually give these cards? I mean, I know of a case where somebody had 20 credit cards, 20 cards, and he used to almost flaunt them. 20 cards. How do you all give cards? Don't you all have a mechanism to share information, intelligence gathering?
There is an information bureau which is CIBIL. And
is CIBIL really functioning as effectively as it ought to?
I would think yes, to a large extent. It's more of a database of customers, their payment history.
Payment history.
Absolutely.
If somebody has got 20 cards, then how did the 19th bank give him that?
If the person has defaulted, then that comes out from the CIBIL database.
CIBIL does not get information automatically. It's the banks which share the information.
Okay,
so to the extent the banks have shared.
As a bank manager, do you get information about people who've defaulted, and do you do a proper verification of capacity to repay before you give out these cards? 20 cards is clearly a reflection of the aberration in the system.
We do go through a process and we see whether he will be able to pay back. It's not that you just go and then you take my credit card. It is not so. We just process and we think about his comfort rather than our comfort.
You're passing the buck on to the private banks. Ferdinand, somebody who in fact dealt with a lot of criminal cases as well. Banks, when they use recovery agents, we are told that some of the recovery agents are also goons, local goons, right, sir? Yes. Some of them are goons. I think the more number of cases they have, history sheeters, the more number of cases they have, the higher is their rate actually.
Yes, yes.
So the more dreaded a goon is, the greater his rate that he charges the bank.
They make use of all these recovery agents and try to pressurize the customers as much as possible. That is the biggest mistake they commit. Secondly, they don't inform the customers as to what will be the consequence. They just come only with the positive aspect of issuing a credit card. They don't say the other side of it, like what are the consequences and what is the interest rate and all those stuff.
When I use the credit card, mainly it is for online shopping or booking tickets or something like that. But I am not sure of the safety of the data that I reveal, the password or whatever. Without that, what's the use of credit cards? That's why we don't use it at all.
Bhanumati? Cyber crime, I'm sure, sir, you've also dealt with a lot of cases.
There would be risks associated with any product that you tend to use. While there are a lot of positives in terms of the plastic money and using it outside rather than having to carry cash, it's a convenience, and what is being debated here is about the negative side of going berserk on the limit. Yeah, there is a tendency, there is a propensity for you to splurge on it and then wait for the bill to come. Having said that, it would help in terms of being cautious in terms of the websites you getting to. It should be secured website.
When it comes to credit cards, there is no, at least the daily transaction limit is much higher, if at all there is one. But when it comes to a debit card, why is that banks impose a daily transaction limit on debit cards and not on credit cards? They want you to spend more of the bank's money and get more business.
Really. In fact, credit card is much more unsecured. Debit card is your own money.
No, if it's your own money, why can't you encourage people to spend more of their own money instead of borrowing the bank's money?
That there is a limitation up to the extent of, it again varies, it depends on the limit that you have.
Opinion, they want the public to get into trouble by spending more on the credit card.
Legal terminology, there's some cravat emptor, customer beware. So it's up to a customer to decide before he steps into a credit card business.
Okay, ma'am, as a bank manager, the most MITC, most important terms and conditions, the fine print is printed so small that you need a magnifying glass to actually read that, right?
But it's still
No, he spoke about caveat emptor, he spoke about let the consumer beware, but the most important terms and conditions are like statutory warnings on cigarette packs.
No, I want to interrupt you at this point. You see, not only the letters, fine letters, even the language used. even an educated person, an advocate will not be able to understand the terminology they use. And it is framed somewhere abroad, and which is not at all having our Indian English.
And one important thing, sir.
Moreover, they never give in the local language. See, a particular state is here in Tamil Nadu, means they could use it in Tamil. They always use it only English. Now some banks have started using Hindi.
And if you see that they will not specify about using recovery agents to collect the money. There is no such instance. But first step what they adopt is make use of the recovery agents and try to pressurize the customers and extract money from them. So this is very clear that they are adopting illegal means to take money from the customers.
Arvind Pandian, you know, there's something called the Banking Codes and Standards Board of India. I don't know how many customers are aware of that. The Banking Codes and Standards Board of India. It's an autonomous watchdog to actually ensure that customers are treated fairly. Taking off from Ferdinand's point, Clause 4E says you should actually, you know, the role of DSAs, direct selling agents, should be governed. You should also display the names of these direct selling agents. And Clause 5 talks about recovery agents going in only between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., maintaining decency and decorum. But today the strategy is to embarrass the customer. Go and shout outside his house at odd hours, make the entire neighborhood come to know that he's borrowed money, embarrass him and make him pay.
The Supreme Court itself came out in 2007. In one line, they encouraged the recovery agents, but on a lot of limitations. The limitations are that, firstly, put all these people on your rolls of the bank. Ensure that all the actions they take, the bank becomes responsible. The Supreme Court gave one wonderful observation, but practically whether it will be possible or not, we don't know. The moment the first default happens, they want the credit card to be scrapped.
We are not a kid. If somebody gives and if there is a print where you are supposed to read, you are supposed to read. Because in your
Show of hands to the audience. How many of you actually go through the fine print? Show of hands. 1, 2, okay. So how many don't go through the fine print? So there you have it. This is a random thing. He also doesn't. As a lawyer also, he doesn't go through the fine print.
I would like to say something else also.
As a lawyer, you don't go through the fine print.
We don't have the time.
Customers are all not illiterates. They are not illiterates and they know their rights more than the bankers.
The big sharks go scot-free and that ends up as non-performing assets, and only the small-time borrowers are actually branded as defaulters. After a short break on ASL, Chennai Speaks Out.
Again, you are greedy and having 20 cards with you, and you also again will not pay back the money of the bank.
Anyone who's going into an ATM card, there'll be a person who will be saying, sir, credit card, sir, credit card.
Even if I drop it in 4 or 5 days before the due date, they purposely take it after 10 days and they call it late payment fee.